Welcome to episode 47 of Heeb Goy.
Yeah, we're really ranking them up, and pretty soon we'll be at episode 50, which is shocking to
We're
hear.
gonna have to do something special for number 50.
Yeah, I know, something special. I don't know
Topless,
what. Huh?
topless, Topless,
Oh,
topless,
topless?
topless.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, I don't think anyone's looking for that,
I was looking at
honestly.
that. I lost a lot of weight though, so that
I
helped.
bet. This once again, let me remind the audience. This is Dan, back from the dead. He is just recovering from brain aneurysm. He's not slow. He's not. What is the term that they used?
I have no deficits.
Yeah, yeah. Dan has no
Well, I have
deficits.
deficits, just
He
not related to
does,
that. Not
maybe in
related to
moral
that.
character. He's got deficits in
Right.
moral character, maybe.
I
But
do.
as far as a health and being sharp as a tack, he's all there. Just
Yes,
sharp as a tack.
I am a shining example of a lucky human being, and
Oh yeah,
but this week it's not about me. We're going
right.
to talk about you because Bruce just had an excursion to a
Uh-huh.
place called the Desert Art Collective. I believe it's
Yeah,
a little bit west of you,
right.
and he met an individual that we were on the phone. This was a couple weeks ago, or no, more than a couple weeks, about a
I think
month or
this
two
was a
ago.
couple months ago.
Oh,
Yeah.
months. And when we were on the phone and he was telling me about this guy, I was losing control laughing.
Oh my God, Dan, and when this whole thing went down, I met this individual, and I was thinking, I can't wait to tell Dan about this because it was just I recognized it instantly as being so funny and irritating at the same time because this podcast is a lot about me and Dan. We like to complain and we also kind of talk shit about people that we run into in life, um, for one reason or another. And so, should I get into it? I mean,
So let's just start at the top. So Bruce is camping because they give you a little camp spot at this, and
yeah,
then he's approached by them that there's going to be a neighbor.
yeah.
Okay,
Okay,
go
so
ahead.
he's okay. So yeah, this is not like the other. I'm involved with different art communities out there, and this is a new one that is called the Desert Collective. And it's out there. It's kind of close to Death Valley. And so, but it's similar to. There's a lot of these sort of off-grid kind of desert, and so I go out there and they say, hey, you this is your little spot for the week, and you're going to have a neighbor. And Bruce, you'll really like this guy because you know what, Bruce, you'll really like this guy. He's a lot like you. we
Oh,
all we all love him. He's a lot like you. I think you're really going to get along. You seem to have the same personality. I'm like, oh,
oh no, oh no.
so that's great. And
So you at this point you have to be dubious at least.
I'm a little dubious because I'm very Dan. I'm very self-aware, and I know that there's parts of me and my personality that are not great. So when another person says, "Oh, this person is just like you. This person's going to be just like you," I'm like, the bad qualities of me. I don't want to be around a person just like me. Do I want to be around a person just like me? I'm very I don't know. So I'm like, okay. So so I meet this character. So then he comes up, and he's like, "Hey, you must be Bruce, my new neighbor." By the way, that is a dead accurate, sort of impression, right? This guy comes up, and by the way, look how I'm dressed with the fucking, what did you call this thing before? Uh,
Tishmati.
a schmati. Like I saw, I'm just dressed like this out in the desert. He he kind of looks the same. Let me describe this character. It's kind of like, white guy, scruffy. I can see how they think that it's similar. I really do. This guy is kind of like getting older, getting a little salt and pepper up there. Definitely like oddball, quirky. I'm like, okay, I get right visually. I get tattoos, right? I get why off the bat, like, okay, it thinks he's like me. And to be a cis het white male, I get it. All right, I see what they're doing.
Right.
And hey, my name's KC. It's good to meet you. They put me back here because they said we're a lot alike. You know what I mean? And I get it. So I'm going to be camping right next to you for like the next couple months, you know. And I'm like, instantly, Dan, instantly my red flags go up. I'm like, this guy's annoying. I don't know why, like, because I can suss out a person quick, bro.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah.
I'm very, look, I have a lot of defects of character. I have a lot. But one thing I'm good at, bro, is reading people and doing it quick, right off the bat. Like, I got this dude fucking nailed within 2 sentences. Hey, I'm KC. And you know what? If you forget my name, don't worry about it, because I got it tattooed right on my shoulder blades. KC. You'll be able to tell, you know? And I'm like, oh. So I'm like, okay. Yeah. I'm kind of a free spirit. I'm an artist just like you. And by the way, I'm clean and sober just like you. And I'm like, really? Because you seem pretty fucking high right now.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So like, then I get the full story. I let a lot of things slide, Dan. But sobriety and being clean and sober is one thing I'll call a person shit out on immediately. Like, I get that there's levels, you know what I mean? But this dude is obviously clearly just high right now, you know, with that smile.
What do you think he's on? Weed?
I know that he's high as a kite on weed, perhaps pills right now, you know.
Okay.
But like, not just a little high. I'm talking like violently high, like fucking like does aggressive bong hits to the point where like just get really, really, really high, right? So he's like he's like this. Hey, I'm KC. Yeah, I'm clean and sober just like you. I'm like, no, you're not. Okay.
Yeah.
So then I'm like, then I sort of question that, like, oh, really? I've got 20. Not that it's a contest, but I'm like, how much clean time do you have? You know, if he's going to bring it up, I was going to bring it up. How much clean time do you have? I quit drinking about a week ago. I'm like, oh, well, you know what? Honestly, congratulations. You know, that I know that is, yeah, man, I was just, you know, so it's great to be back here with you. The whole clean and so me and you are the whole clean and sober vibe back here. And I'm like, okay. Me and you are not the clean and sober. Clearly looking at you, I'm thinking of this to myself. I'm like, all right, whatever. Dan, I don't even know where to go from here. So help me out. What else did I tell you? I mean, because like,
dude, that is so you're thinking to yourself, this could have been me.
Okay, so yeah, that's what I'm getting at. Okay, so a couple things happen to where, okay, then you know, there's like an area where, you know, where supposedly the campers gather around the bonfire of this desert collective. And I see him interacting with other folks. And I see, you know, I can see what he's doing, and I can see why other people think he's like me. Because honestly, I'll be honest, the guy is very charming. He's able to use his personality and friendliness to quickly win over people. I know that I have that same ability. I'm aware enough to know that I have that same ability. And I can see this guy's got it too. You know what I mean? It's charming. He's got the good charisma, the chutzpah, whatever. He's winning people over, whatever. But I also see through, you know, what he's doing. I'm like, I think this guy's kind of a mooch. And I think he's going through life sort of using his personality to get through life, you know, which is something old Bruce has absolutely been guilty of before I did any work on myself. Again, so this dude is like probably like 39, right?
A little bit younger than you.
A little bit younger. And I then see him interacting with the other campers and just getting violently high in front of my eyes. You know what I mean? Like doing massive bong hits, just huge bong hits like I used to do in college, right? And getting that sort of glow, that sort of like, you know, college fucking art school, like just so high. And he's shifting into this sort of Cheech and Chong, Matthew McConaughey sort of like, you know, hey, man, dude, I'm so high right now. You know what I mean? Like doing a lot of that. And I'm getting very annoyed now. I'm like looking at this guy. I'm like, oh, clean and sober. Yeah. Now I get that there's being, you know, look, we're in a new age.
Why lie about that?
Well, it's not lying. I know that there's a new thing going on in recovery where it's called I forget what it's called. There's a term where you get, it's called California sober is another term. It's a type of thing where it's like there's levels, you know what I mean? Like you can call yourself sober but still use weed, and it's
So
like a way.
what's the term for me where I'm on literally nothing, not even caffeine? Not California. That'd be like Utah sober.
Oh, I call you Gold Star clean and sober.
Gold Star clean and sober.
You know how they have
Yeah,
Gold Star lesbians? A Gold
yeah,
Star
that's true.
lesbian, yeah, Gold
I'm
Star
like the
lesbian
Gold
is one
Star
that
lesbian version
never
of,
has slept with
yeah.
a dude,
I've
never
never
dealt with a
tried
penis,
any drug, never tried
never had
any,
any kind of penis, whatever.
never
So like
tried
they,
a cigarette, never
right,
tried anything. The only drug I've ever done is caffeine. I did it in high amounts, but
yeah,
that's over. Those days
they
are
took
over.
that off the table. So you are, yeah, you're Gold Star straight edge, you're Gold Star, and so, but I can't, I'm blanking on the name. I think it's called um, harm management or something like that. It's
I
another, it's
know,
a
but
term,
I know, but come on.
but you know what I'm talking about.
He's
We
not.
get
He's
it.
not. I know.
He's
Okay.
okay, so like
He's
he's
full of
just
shit.
getting,
He's full of shit.
he's not
That's what
clean
he
and
is.
sober. He's like he's the getting. So I see him in front of my own eyes. It's not like smoking a little weed just to take the edge off, and so
No,
because you're getting trying to get clean and sober.
no,
This guy's
no.
getting as high as he can to make up for the fact that he can't have beer anymore, or whatever. So he's just like getting violently high, you know. But again, okay, fine. That's just number one. And so I'm just like you, right? I'm out in the, excuse me. I'm out of the clean and sober camp with Bruce, you know.
Okay, so let me clap you along here. So
Thank you.
there's another aspect of this guy that I found fascinating, and one that makes him very different than you. He has a kid. He has a
Yeah,
kid,
so
right?
as a kid, and that comes in so late, which you know, whatever. I don't want to bring that in too much in the conversation, but like, yeah, you hear about it, like a guy like that. I started looking through it. I'm like, okay, this guy's being kind of irresponsible by just sort of like just flitting through life, and he's very much a free spirit, and God bless you if that's you. But he's got a kid, and he's 49, and he's getting violently high out here, and I can see that he's just right away. I'm getting sort of vibe like, okay, this is a guy that just sort of is running from responsibility, you know, and I just like I'm sort of picking up more and more off this guy that I'm not liking. You know, he's sort of like just sort of drifting through life. And I get it if you can do that, and maybe you don't have a kid, maybe you don't have responsibilities, whatever. And maybe you want to be free spirit. I love that, honestly. But like if you got a kid, you gotta, I don't know, dude. Right. So this is rubbing me the wrong way. And then it's like, what else was I going to talk about? Yeah, they said we're going to be along. We're going to be. I'm just like you, and yeah, we're going to be great friends back here. And
So let
then
me let me
okay,
let me do a sidebar real quick here. So
thank you.
this
Help me
brings
out.
up this
I forget
brings
some of the
up
shit that I talked about.
this brings up a fascinating thing that you and I have in common. You and I are both very good at sussing people out pretty quick.
Real quick.
I'm not as good with women, but men I'm really good at.
Yeah.
And it has happened to me so many times in my life, I've lost count, where there's a guy or a person, and I'm like, this dude's bad news,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
And everyone else around at that time is
Yeah.
like, what are you talking about? He's awesome, man.
Oh, see, so that's a thank
He's
you.
cool, man. What do you mean? Casey's cool, bro.
Dude, this
And
is
I'm like,
exactly
he's
what was
not
going on.
cool.
So there are people that are, you know, that are running the campsite and whatever that are like, oh, I love KC. He's so great. You know, he's like
Oh,
really friendly, and we love him. And of course, you know, it's like okay, but I see through it. I'm like, is he? I don't really know. Like I'm pretty much thinking. And by the way, instantly I think to myself, this dude's not going to last. This whole facade is going to come crashing down.
well, yeah, because you have to help out in these places.
You
You
got to
have to
help out.
do stuff.
So here's the thing in these places. You gotta, if it, you know, just like any kind of like collective, it's the word community in there. The word community, like communism and community and whatever. It's people that are helping other people as a collective instead of looking out just for me, right? Instead of it being just, I'm looking out just for me, you help out this person. This person need some help. We're going to group together.
All
And so
hands on deck. We need to do this.
all
or that.
hands
Right.
on deck. So it's like this guy is working on his little section over there, and making like a structure out of pallets and stuff like this. And right next to me, and he, it was like listening to this loud ass. Hey, I'm like you. I'm a musician. Really, I play drums. I really.
Oh no.
I'm a DJ. That's
oh no,
right?
You didn't tell me that.
I
oh
left
my
a little
God,
nugget.
you did not.
Dan.
You did not.
I left
tell
a
me
nugget.
that
Dan.
before.
I left this on purpose. So he goes like this. This is true, Dan. So I go, oh really? He's like, yeah. So he's got like these power tools over there, like a special. And you can tell, by the way, also, you could tell this guy is sort of doing the dirty kid life, but getting kind of old to be doing the dirty kid life. And he's got a sweet set of like Milwaukee power tools, that like really sweet set of Milwaukee power tools that have these battery chargers that go in there, right? And a massive solar panel thing that you can recharge the solar pack. You can recharge the battery packs. Milwaukee also makes just a powerful, disturbingly loud boombox that takes the same power battery packs that like a drill would take. And it's really big, and it says Milwaukee on it. And you take two of these power packs that power drills, and you pop them into the boombox, and you press play, and that thing is so fucking loud. Like, it's louder than anything. So
the thing is, don't you like that shit? I hate it.
All right, I'm gonna admit something about myself. That's a pretty bad character defect. I'm gonna be honest about it. I do like listening to music loud, but I don't like other people's fucking music. Like, I don't. And even if Dan, this is fucked up, but even say I like Pink Floyd. If someone plays Pink Floyd and I didn't press play, maybe I'm not in the mood here. I don't want to hear it. That's a bad character defect of mine.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't.
I don't look. I love music, but I don't want to hear it on fucking volume 11.
Right? And it's fucked up, because I might like Pink Floyd, but if a dude says I'm going to play some Pink Floyd right now, I'm like, yeah, but I didn't choose it. Maybe I want to hear. Maybe I'm not in the mood for Pink Floyd right now. Maybe I want to be quiet. I'm in the mood for a different. Dan, I like shitloads of different types of music. It's a wide spectrum.
What was Casey playing?
Okay, so Casey, this is how bad it goes. He goes, I hear you're a musician too, right? Yeah. It's funny. I also play drums too, and I'm a musician. Everything I did, he did too, right? We're the same person almost. I can see why they put us back here. I mean, we're both handsome dudes, yeah, both charming with the ladies. I'm like, dude, it's making it worse, right? The whole thing is just making it worse. Yeah, man. So I'm an artist too. That's the other thing. I'm an artist too. Really? By the way, everybody's an artist, right? You know how it is. I'm an artist too.
Well, you're at an art collective. Of course, he's an artist.
You're an art collective, so you think, oh, whatever. So, like, what have you made? What have you made? Well, I'm good. Then it gets into the stoner pipe dreams. Now, this is a trait. This is a trait of the stoner that I know, because I was a stoner, Dan, for 2 decades. And there's a type of person who sits around and smokes weed violently. When I mean violently, that just means a lot of weed. Like, you're really
violently.
Yeah. Like, you're not a violent person. You're just doing extreme amounts of weed.
Excessive amounts, right?
Excessive. Like, you're already high. There's no need to smoke. You can't get any higher by smoking more weed. It's ridiculous. So, yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to build like this big like elephant, and I'm going to make him out of car parts. I'm going to do a lot of talking, not doing. This is the term where pipe dream comes from, where people used to smoke opium and talk about these grandiose plans of things that never will happen, are never gonna happen, that are never gonna happen. So instantly, KC is like, yeah. So, I'm an artist too, just like you. And I'm like, see, I got a lot of work that I'm working on here. You see my portfolio. What have you done? I'm just not even angry. I'm just kind of curious. Nothing right now, but I'm working on a lot of ideas. I'm like, oh, a lot of ideas. That's great. Pie in the sky, whatever. Yeah, I'm also a musician, just like you. Oh, really? Well, I play drums. What do you play? Well, I'm a DJ. I'm a DJ and I make my own music. And I'm like, how? And so that is because they have made these sampling things that are super like a fucking moron. Yeah, like they make it super easy, like an app. They have these apps where you can just like, here's a drum beat, and you just pick a drum beat, and then you add like a little
It's like Ross from Friends.
Yeah. And it's like Ross from Friends. And so you make this generic dance music, and of course, a lot of dance music, as long as you're super high, it all sounds good. I admit that's true with a lot of dance music, right? So he's like, before I can say no, he's like, "Hey, man, he wants to so badly befriend me," and I'm like, that's another thing. I'm getting sick to my stomach because I realize, oh, that's a bad character defect that I have. I know I do with this dude. When I meet someone new, I want to win them over. And
Yeah,
ultimately, this
but
whole
the
thing,
problem is you see through this guy.
yeah, I
One
see
thing is,
through this guy,
yeah.
right? And so, like, now, and I'm back there, and the whole thing, like, oh, you'll love KC, and he's just like you, and I'm KC, and if you forget my name, it's tattooed right on me. You'll never forget. Hey, I'm KC. I'm clean and sober, just like you. Hey, I'm KC. I'm an artist and a musician just like you. I'm like, okay, you know what? You're not just fucking like me. This is my internal dialogue. I'm getting fucking angry. I'm like, what the fuck? He's won over everybody. Everybody loves KC, you know what I mean? Then he goes, I'll play you some of my music. And I'm like, that's okay, Casey. I don't want to hear you. He's like right next to me. He can't stop talking to me. Dan, I know I talk a lot. I love talking. I know I'd like to mix it up. But I also realize when a person doesn't want to be talked to, I can pick up that vibe. I can read the room. This guy, he's kind of being quiet. He kind of doesn't want to talk. Maybe I won't talk to him so much. I do have that ability. This motherfucker doesn't, right? Hey,
because he's fucking high.
Thank you. And so here's another thing I'll say. KC is the version of me at the fork of the road that didn't get clean and sober 20 years ago.
You wouldn't have been this bad.
I would have. That is, Dan, that's why this whole thing is so absolutely sickening to me, to my core, because this dude, okay, so I got clean and sober 20 years ago. This dude is apparently, let's just round it off. I got clean and sober 20 years ago. This dude is 10 years younger than me. And this is the version of Bruce that didn't get clean and sober 20 years ago. If there's like a sort of parallel universe, there's like that Seinfeld episode, you know what I mean? Like, what do they call it? Like George, like the version of George.
Bizarro.
Thank you. But in the Bizarro version, this is the version of Bruce. This is what I would have been and what I would have turned into.
It's so hard to picture you being this much of a mooch.
Dude, dude, it's in me. That evilness lurks inside, right? Now, I got clean, and that's why I'm saying what we were talking about earlier. I'm so glad I got clean and sober 20 years ago. Because you not only get clean and sober, you also have to do therapy and you have to do work on yourself that makes you solve other things in your life that might even contribute to why you're getting fucked up all the time, right? What are you masking? What are you running from? And I start I got real deep, like thinking about this guy, and he took over my thoughts. I was there for like 3 weeks. So I'm like, I can't stop thinking about KC. Hey, everybody loves me. And I had to constantly, he's there next to me and just like, and just see the way interacting with other people, and other people are like, have you met KC? Yes. We love him. We love him out here. He's just like you.
Oh my God, dude, that would make me so mental. So the problem is there's no win, right? There's no win.
They can't call him out because they haven't seen it yet.
If you say to them, he's a fucking loser, you look like the bad guy. Number one. Number two,
Bruce, are you jealous? Yeah.
Right. And number two is your other option is to lie and say you like him, which feels fucking grotesque. So
I'm good. Okay. But I'm not going to say I have a good ability to lie, but I have a good ability to sort of like, Roe calls it Roe calls it like two-facing acting skills, because when you're in business, anyone that works any kind of a job is an actor. And if you're good at your job, it means you're good at acting. Oh, hi, ma'am. Would you like some more water? I'm so sorry that food is cold. I'll go get you another one. They're acting.
Yes, of course.
So it's like that. So, of course, the whole time I'm there, I'm sort of like treading my, I'm like, hey, okay, Casey, that's great. Like when you deal with him and other people, okay. Oh, wow, you're gonna build a sculpture? That's great. Well, If you need my help, let me know. Oh, here, and so another thing is, Casey's building this like sculpture, or no, he's building some sort of like shack out of like pallets, old pallets, right, and trash. And you know, hey, KC, I'm right next door. I'm trying to be a good guy. I'm right next door, as you know. So if you need help, like lifting something or holding something down, or like I see you're building something, I mean that's what I'm here. We're here for each other, right? Yeah, man. So I'm over there, and so picture the scene. Like I'm at my sort of area, and I'm working on my sculptures and my drawings, and I'm getting into my own zone, and I'm trying to. And he, no shit, probably 40 feet away, literally right next door, and and so, oh, I forgot. It's another super annoying thing. So he puts he puts the music on in his boombox, and I hear him yelling, "Hey, Bruce! Yeah, you like this song? It's all right. I made this. This is some of my music." No vocals, just repetitive. It's pretty cool, right? Yeah, I'm working on this, man. I've played lots of big DJ shows, like, right? And by the way, I'm from Denver, by the way.
Oh, no.
I'm from Denver. And you see, I got Denver tattooed right here. And I got a vest. It says Denver. And the name of my camp right here is going to be called Mini Denver. And I got a sign right here. It's called Mini Denver. KC, Mini Denver. Clean and sober area. Just like you. I'm like, and so I'm like, oh, this is driving me nuts.
I'm tagging a Filipino broad, just like you.
Hey, I like Asian broads too.
Yeah, right.
And, but anyway, so I'm also picking up by the. So then, okay, so I'm like, okay, dude, he's listening to this loud ass music. When it's not his music, it's 90s West Coast rap, which okay,
right.
I like. So I like me a lot of. I'll be honest, I have a big wide. I do like 90s rap, but here's what's weird about me. I like 90s rap a lot, but you might be aware there's an East Coast rap and there's a West Coast rap. There's your Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre. That's your West Coast camp, and there's your East Coast camp, which is like.
Biggie.
Biggie, thank you. And so since I'm from East Coast, I'm very much, I don't like the West Coast. He's playing nothing but West Coast rap, right? So I'm trying to remain sane over there. And what do I hear? Riding on my 6'4". Let me ride. And so he's sort of singing along with it out loud in that baked super stoner voice. Super loud. Hey, riding on my 6'4". Let me ride. He's drilling.
Sipping on gin and juice.
Sipping on gin and juice. Sipping on gin. Sipping on gin. I'm KC. So, dude.
All right, so let me clap you along. Let's fast forward because, as always, you and I are proven right in the end.
Okay, yeah, I'll clap it along. I'm sorry.
With these types of individuals, in the end, we eventually are told, yeah, you were right.
Okay, right? So I go along. I'm there for a couple of weeks. I will clap it along. I'll move it forward. So I'll clap it along. So, okay, what do you think of the story so far?
I am enthralled with this guy. I mean, the DJ thing is, you didn't tell me that before. That's fucking amazing. That is, I'm telling you, man, stereotypes are a great thing sometimes. They really are.
Yeah.
Like, they
put a cover on a book. They always say, don't judge a book by a cover. Yeah, you should, because there's a reason they put a cover on a book. The cover of the book is to give you a quick sort of recap about what's inside the book. Right? Yeah. That's why they put a cover on a book. Look, a romance novel is going to have a shirtless dude holding a woman, maybe some flowery lettering. That's a romance novel. Right?
Yeah, I mean, I know people shit on me for saying this, but stereotypes are a time saver. And look, they're not always accurate. Of course, they're not always accurate. Of course
they're not always accurate.
But they're accurate a lot. And if you had told me the bare minimum about this guy, I could have painted this picture larger. Yeah. The DJ thing I probably would have come up with on my own.
The DJ
You know,
thing and the boombox thing that where
of course.
you
Yeah,
put the
yeah.
power packs in there, it makes it blisteringly loud. So okay, all this goes on, and so this is I'll clap it along. So I deal with this whole situation while I'm there, and I'm just getting super annoyed, and I'm just like, okay, whatever. And then right when I'm leaving, hey, I'm KC. I'm a permanent member here now, by the way. So when you come back here, and I go visit these places probably like, a couple times a year. I take little trips. There's a handful of places that I do this at. And so the Desert Collective is one of them. And hey, I'm building this camp here and I'm going to be your permanent neighbor. So next time you come here, you know, uh, Mini Denver will be up and
And
running.
you goddamn know, with a beyond a shadow of a doubt there's no way that's true.
I know. And I, you know what? I wish, how people can like discover trends of stock market and they get rich in life because they're able to see trends and put money on them and capitalize on what they know about trends of things. If there was a way to do this with people, I would
Oh
be
my God,
so,
you'd be a millionaire.
I'd be a millionaire. So he's got this whole camp fooled. Everyone thinks he's great. He's on a great trajectory because he's planning on doing all these things. He's clean and sober. He's California sober, but he's clean and sober. He's on a great trajectory. He's going to do lots of things for this community. He says he's going to do X, Y, Z. All this is great. He's friendly, super likable. You know what? Not a bad looking guy either, to be quite honest. And I'm like, okay. But I see through the whole fucking facade. And I'm like, when I come back here, I'll give it. This guy's not going to last 6 months.
No way.
Maybe a year. And I go.
I would have said 2 months.
Yeah. No. I give people a little more. I hedge my bets. Dan, I'm not good at all my bets, as you know. I've lost bets with Dan and had to pay him.
Yes, you did lose a bet.
But so on this one, I'm like, I give this guy a year, and he's not going to be here again. This has happened before at different types of places where I'm right. I've got a good track record of being like, this dude's not going to be here in a year, so whatever. So okay, I go home and I've got some friends. I've got a friend, a cool gay dude by the name of AJ. I love AJ, right? And AJ is a young gay dude that I know who lives there, and I'm friendly with AJ. And AJ goes, I text AJ, how's things going out there with KC? Not good, Bruce. What do you mean?
Shocking.
Well,
I'm shocked.
Some things have happened. And I go, well, I love the tea. You got to spill the tea. I want the gossip. I want the tea. What happened?
Of course.
Long story short, he's gone. Because he's gone. I'm like, gone? What happened to the big plans? What happened to
Mini Denver?
What happened to Mini Denver? Okay. KC stole some material that wasn't his. KC acted inappropriate and a little bit transphobic and racist to
can't do that
some of the visitors.
No.
KC was trying there's visitors that come, different campers, and he was trying to aggressively get laid.
Of course. I could have predicted that one.
Yeah. And so, look, there's typical toxic male behavior that is accepted in other places of society.
Yeah, no, not in our community.
That are not accepted in this community. And
no.
We're good. I'm glad. But yeah, just being kind of a, hey, I'm KC. Why don't you come back to my camp? I'll show you what I'm building back there. In the very,
it's 7 inches. You want to see it?
Off of chicks that are like out of his range and too young anyway, and just like the whole thing's gross, right?
Hey, you want to see? Have you seen a foreskin before?
Yeah, like oh. And by the way, if you forget my name, it's right here, tattooed on my body.
Tattooed on my body. Yeah,
hey,
while I'm
a musician.
While I'm pleasuring you, you could scream my name, and if you forget,
I'm a DJ.
Right here.
Do you want to hear some of my music? Let me just play for it. Yeah, I'm sober.
Basically, if I'm hearing this correct, the shtick wore thin.
The shtick wore thin. People found out all about it. Rubbed people the wrong way.
I would have bet $100 that he was going to do something with a young woman, that he was going to like expose himself or be inappropriate.
And I'm not going to say that. It didn't expose himself. Nothing. No sort of sexual assault.
How about be inappropriate? How's that?
Inappropriate, absolutely. Inappropriate.
Yeah.
Inappropriate in a scenario where I mean, look, if you some shit that goes down in a redneck bar in Alabama is not going to go down at a California collective. If you get my drift.
When you're 50 years old, and this guy's not quite that old, but he's close.
Close.
You have to tread very carefully with young people.
Very carefully. You got to read the room, man. You got to
tread very carefully, because
you got to realize you're living.
The world we're in now.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of scumbags, and it's one thing to stare at a woman from across a room and say, "Wow, she's good looking" or whatever. It's another thing entirely to approach her and to like talk to her.
Yeah,
you just got to be really careful. I mean,
and it's good. I'm glad this is happening. You know what I mean? Women have been putting up with shit for so long.
Yeah, no, I agree. I completely agree.
Yeah.
With that. I completely agree with that. And I don't want these girls having to deal with guys like me and you.
I know. Like me and you have mirrors, right? And we're living in 2025. When I go up to interact with, a 25-year-old woman.
Oh.
I know, completely innocent interaction, social, whatever. I'm very aware. I'm hyper aware, mind you, about what I'm going to say, do, and act. You know what I mean? Like, right. I'm not going to be that fucking guy. I'm not going to be that fucking guy.
No, of course not.
And so basically, what happened with Casey? Gone, and it happened real quick. And now let me tell you this part. It happened so quick that when some of the camp counselors went to go, hey, listen, there's been some, I just want to talk to you like an adult about some things that I've been aware of some of your behaviors and things like this. I just want to talk it out. Maybe we could go. I'm out of here. Fuck you guys. So there you go. Yeah, leaving on bad terms, by the way.
Love that.
And just leaving.
Just like at this point, it's a shame you didn't express to anyone your views of him, because now they would all think you're a genius.
Because Dan, the "I told you so," as we all know, there's nothing sweeter.
Nothing.
There's the taste of
but you were smart, because if you had said to them, "This guy's a shithead," and you're going to find out he's a shithead. I
could have been wrong and lost a bet, like I lost a bet with you, right? So if I just
keep wrong, you wouldn't have been wrong, but at the time that you were there, they would have been annoyed with you.
They were like, Bruce, why you gotta be so shitty?
Why do you gotta be like that? He's so nice.
Just like you, by the way. I mean,
he's just like you.
By the way, as you really said, the whole thing, he's just like you, is the hardest.
Oh no.
The hardest.
No.
I did the 12 steps. One of the steps, I forget which one it is you have to be aware of your defects of character. I made myself aware of defects of character. My interaction with KC was a reworking of that step, because it was just like, my God, there you are, bro.
It's so hard.
That's
Bruce.
you.
I've known you a long time, almost the entire time you've been sober, really.
Yeah.
And it's hard for me to picture you.
Scummy.
I can picture you being a user, right?
Yeah.
But I cannot picture you being this much of a phony shithead mooch.
Yeah. I mean, when I got clean and sober, I wasn't that much of a phony shit. I wasn't. I was still kind of a decent person, but I was heading in that direction. Yeah. And it's so weird to come into contact with a person that's like, oh, here's parallel universe Bruce. This is you of 10 more years of drug abuse would have done. That's
a good point. If you add 10 years of abuse.
That's the thing. I've been clean and sober 20. This dude's 10 years younger than me. So this is at that intersection of the road. I got clean and sober 2005, Dan. Boom. Yeah. It's like this. So like that's what would have happened 2015, Bruce. That would have been you. Fucking 10 years younger, 47, 49, whatever the fuck. And horrible. So then I found out from AJ, my young gay friend over there at the Desert Collective. Hey, Bruce, I'll do the accent. I hope AJ doesn't mind. Oh my God, Bruce, you were so right.
Wait. So you told AJ on site while you were there that you didn't like KC?
AJ was the one person that
you
I
confided in.
I sort of gently was like, I don't know about KC. And
Good.
AJ has since admitted, oh my God, Bruce, you were so right. I thought he was cool. Said that to me.
Cool. Good.
Yeah, I really, and because AJ likes to smoke weed, AJ likes to party, right?
Well,
Nothing
yeah.
wrong with that. But AJ's
No.
not a fucking like, I really like AJ. AJ's a good person.
There's a
But
difference, and of course you can tell.
yeah,
You can sniff it out. Like
yeah.
it's one thing that somebody they're into, they use a little, they party. But
Right.
this KC guy from the fucking jump,
From the jump, I had it now.
is a
Fuck.
fucking user, not of
Yeah.
drugs, but of people.
And so then when this happened, when this all went down, and Casey got confronted about his behavior. Listen, you can't be dragging women to your camp.
Yeah, so he was not hearing it.
You can't be making transphobic jokes when half of the staff here are trans. But you can't do that. Like there are people that are living here that are trans.
Read the room.
Read the room. You're not in a bar in Alabama. You're not, like I said, you're not in a bar in Alabama with a fucking Confederate flag and a fucking band on stage playing Willie Nelson songs. This ain't it. This is so. Look, like he's
I love to make Jew jokes. I wouldn't do it at a Jewish retreat, right?
Right. Like you wouldn't be like, hey, check out my podcast called the Heeb Goy Show.
Yeah. Hey, get on the trains, buddy.
I'm Dan.
Albeit Max Fry. Yeah. Yeah, no.
So anyway, I just realized the reference you made. Albeit Mosque Fry. Dude. Yeah. All right. So anyway, I'll just get to the point of it is like when confronted about this behavior, and let's talk like adults.
He had zero interest in reflecting.
Zero interest about addressing said behavior.
Right.
And correcting said behavior, which is another thing that tracks entirely. The behavior is I'm going to run. I'm going to run from my problems.
I want what I want, and if I can't get it, I'm long gone.
So the behavior is I'm going to run from my problems. I'm going to run from my responsibility. Anything that doesn't fit into my little fucked up, hazy, weed smoked globe is a problem, and I'm going to run for it. So sure enough, hey, listen, abandoned. Mini Denver, completely abandoned. Did so much work on the structure. Abandoned.
Can we is there a way for us to divert that LA fire towards Mini Denver?
I'm telling you, I would look. I might, also had a vehicle. Casey drove there in a vehicle which is in a state of semi-disrepair that wasn't running at the time. And rather than just say, I got it. Okay, listen, I'm sorry it didn't work out. I'm going to leave in a couple of days. Had to be dramatic. Grab a backpack and walk out on foot. Walk out on fucking foot.
Amazing.
And just like, I'm KC. Fuck you guys. I'm out of here. Like that kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And Dan, when I tell you that tracks so hardcore with the addict's mentality of running from your problems, dude, that's what addicts do. They run from their fucking problems rather than face them. It's so much easier to run from your problems.
Do you think you will ever cross paths with KC again?
Okay. If I'm going to be a good person, and which I'm trying to be, I'll be honest. I hope that one day I run across Casey again and he's clean and sober, or he's done some sort of work. And I know the term is harm reduction, right? That's if you just, whatever your problems are, whatever, if you can address them, go to therapy, work the steps or whatever. If I run across him again and he's like, yeah, I'm sorry about how I behaved. I've made a lot of changes in my life. I'll welcome him with open arms. You know what I mean? And I'll be able to joke with him and be like, dude, I hated you when I first met you.
You get that half of what's going on with him is he's an addict.
Yeah. And if you do work on yourself, I don't even care if you're an addict or not. If you're a fucking toxic individual and you go to take drugs out of the equation, you go to a toxic individual and you work on yourself, you do the therapy and you admit you sort of fucking work on it and you become a better person, then I'll welcome you with open arms and I would have a funny conversation. Be like, dude, I kind of didn't like, you know what? I didn't like you. I didn't like you when I met you.
But this guy's too far gone. This guy's too far gone, man.
I disagree. Nobody's too far gone. I know
All right.
people. I know people that hardcore heroin method addicts that look like they're in the gutter, that are in the gutter, that come back and they're great people. Now you never would have known. Like it can happen. But so as of now, so I'm going to go back eventually to the Desert Collective, and I'm going to see AJ and just see. I'm going to see Mini Denver there, and I don't know what I'm going to do. Well, I'll tell you what I'll do with Mini Denver.
You got to annex Mini Denver. That's what you need to do. You need to roll in there like Hitler did Poland.
I'm going to. I'm going to be an aggressive. I'm going to be an aggressive imperialist and fucking move in.
It's only 40 feet. You said.
It's only 40 feet. I can easily absorb
the whole area. You make that like,
and you know how like
that's like your cabana.
It's now Mini Mesa. Now it's Mini Mesa.
Mini Mesa.
Yeah.
And like, mini Moab.
And so if Poland and Germany shared a border and wars were fought for Hitler to try to take that territory, it's easy for me. I just got to move a line of tires in the dirt, and that's it. That's
You're done.
I move a line of tires in the dirt, and now I just take down the sign that says New Denver, which by the way I painted. I painted the sign. This is New Denver. I left that out. Hey, can you do me a favor? What's that? I know we're both artists, you know, and I could do it myself, but I heard you're good with lettering. Could you paint Mini Denver on my structure over here? True story. And I went over there with paint, and I was like, okay, you know, I'm trying to be like a nice guy, huh? Mini Denver. Wow, look at it, Mini Denver, and everybody loves it. Hey, have you seen Mini Denver? Just constantly, and the whole time I'm there, I'm like, so what I'm contributing? I'm making sculptures. What are you doing for the Desert Collective? Well, I'm working on my structure first, and after I'm done with that, then I'm going to build a big structure. Then I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. 3 weeks he's there. I seen him doing nothing but aggressively work on his structure that he's going to fucking try to troll, bring chicks back to, you know. And I'm like, dude. So I left and I told AJ, I'm like, by the way, I don't feel good about that guy. You keep me tabs on him because I know he's your friend. Everybody loves KC because he's fun to smoke weed with. He's got a good sense of humor, makes everybody laugh. And you should see when they're all smoking bong hits around he's holding court and making everybody laugh, right? And it's me just like looking at him, and he's a good looking guy. He's better looking than me. So I'm like looking at him and I'm like, oh, he's the version of Bruce that everybody, but nobody likes Bruce. Bruce doesn't smoke weed. There he is holding court. Excuse me. Yeah. Yeah. Hey, you want me to DJ a party? Yeah. I'll just DJ. Oh, yay. Go Casey. Go Casey. Go Casey. And I'm like, fuck, dude. What the fuck? This is my worst nightmare.
And so, yeah, I'm gonna segue out of this.
How long have I been ranting about?
We're at 48 minutes, Bruce, about KC. KC is good fodder. I mean, the DJ thing just adds to the whole picture. But,
I'm the DJ.
So I want to real quick. I want to thank you.
Right.
No. I don't know if we talked about this too much on the last show.
We missed a lot because you went into, you know, you had a brain aneurysm. We missed
about a month. One of the things that came out of that is I'm sort of recalibrating what's important to me and what I want to do for the rest of the years that I'm on this earth.
Oh.
And one of the things that I'm very serious about, as you know, is pig rescue and educating the public about pigs as companion animals, and then taking pigs who need homes and keeping them for their life and giving them a loving home.
Dan takes care of abused old dogs and pigs. And
so I started a nonprofit called Maxine's Hideaway.
Yeah.
So I live on 10 acres, and we fenced off about 2.5 acres in the back, built a barn. We have a chicken coop, and we have another little kind of house that we built for some pigs. So we're up to 5 pigs right now. And when I started the nonprofit, and it's named after Maxine, anyone who's had animals before knows that in your life you're going to have a lot of pets.
Yeah.
But there's always one or two, for whatever reason,
it's close to your heart,
are just special. There's something about them, and they kind of have a bigger impact on you.
Yeah.
And we had a pig named Maxine. We only had her for 2.5 years, but she really you laugh at me all you want. This pig changed my life.
I'm not gonna laugh at that.
And so we named it after Maxine. And it's a legit nonprofit. And
It's a 501c, yeah?
this way I can build a barn or build a pig house or add an electric line or a water line, and I can pay for it at least as a write-off, right?
Yeah.
And so I needed a logo, and I don't know a lot of artists, so I went to Bruce and said, hey, could you do a logo for me? And he
Right.
came up with this, which is just amazing because it really captures Maxine. Because
Uh-huh.
she had some neurological issues and her tongue would hang out, but that's like you could sort of see. It's hard to. I mean, that was her with the tongue hanging out, the eyes, and
He's posting the drawing that I made for him right before he
yeah, those who are listening audio, I'll post the drawing. So it's basically it's a drawing of Maxine, and behind it in a kind of Charlotte's Web way, he's got Maxine's hideaway in a spider web, which I think is really cool.
yeah.
Um, and we're ramping up, and I got some merch on the website, and
Merch. Yeah.
merch. Everybody
I
loves
love
merch,
it.
and we for the time being we're pausing, obviously because of me, but we have prior to me having the incident, we agreed to take a piglet from a hoarding case. We may still take her. It just depends on me getting the final all clear in a couple months. But but the animals we have, of course, we're going to keep forever. And I'm working my way back right now. My wife is doing most of everything, and I'm just sort of walking around and helping as much as I can. But
Right.
I really appreciate you doing this. I mean, I think it's a great logo, first of all, and I'm always like, in a way, I'm always annoyed by people with artistic ability because I have none. I mean, I have zero artistic ability. I just,
Uh,
I have none of those skills at all. And it's always amazing to me to see somebody who could dream up stuff and actually draw it. I
Thank
can't even
you.
imagine being able to do that. Like, anyway,
It comes natural. I mean, I went to arts. This is what we would call an illustration. This is what I went to art school for. This is not, fine art that you do to express yourself. This is like, and that's why I went to art school for illustration. I majored in illustration, where someone gives you a job. Like, look, I'm starting a pig retreat, and this is the pig, and this is special to me, and they sort of tell me about it, and then I go, okay. So in my head, I start to like picture things. I'm like, it's gonna be a drawing of the pig, and I tell Dan, I'm like, I need some pictures of this pig. You tell me this pig is special. Let's see some pictures of it. Dan sends me pictures of the pig. I'm like, none of these are good. I need more pictures of the pig, because I have a 3/4 view just like this in my head. I'm like, I got to see the face. Can't be a head-on view. You got to be able to tell it's a pig. And then I'm like, well, then I called Dan. I'm like, Dan, what does the pig community think about Charlotte's Web? Because as an artist, I don't know too much about the pig community, right?
right.
And so I go, what do you think about Charlotte's Web, the very iconic children's book about a lovely pig that was saved from being butchered? And Dan says, well, we all love it, of course, obviously. I'm like, great. So I go and I do my research. By the way, before you make the drawing, there's several hours of like research and stuff.
Of course.
And I'm like, so then I stumble across online the actual drawings in pencil of the illustrations that were from this children's book, which I learned is the best-selling children's book of all time,
Which is
I guess.
amazing.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
didn't know that.
And the illustrations as such are iconic. And so then there's one, and I pretty much what you're looking at right now, the spider's web, uh, was directly influenced from one of the illustrations. Like,
But the lettering is so good, like the straight lines,
yeah, but I
you
tried
know.
several times to do that. And look, that's the fucking fourth version. The first
Yeah.
couple times I did this, the lettering was just in the lighter lines, and you couldn't read it. Like, it was more accurate, but you couldn't fucking read it. And the whole point is, does it do its job? An illustration. Does it communicate through an image what's going on here with just the image? So you're looking at this. I'm looking at a picture of it. If you didn't know anything about it, it says it's got a picture of this adorable pig, and this is Maxine's hideaway, and there's like a bird and flowers and stuff. It looks very nice. And then it says, How do you name that town? Alachua?
Alachua.
Alachua. And it says Alachua, Florida on the bottom. It's like, oh, it's probably some sort of like, group or whatever. So I was happy to do this for Dan. I've done several drawings for Dan.
Oh yeah, in the past I've had Bruce do many things for me that were less serious than this. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Look, anything I could do for Dan, I do, because Dan has taken care of me in a lot of different ways, like you would not believe. Dan, whenever I have a dumb boomer question about how my phone works, I run right to Dan. Dan, I can't figure out how to restart my phone, or like, Dan, how do I know how much data I have on my phone? And like, super confused.
You're not really that bad though. I mean, you've had some boomer questions, but you're overall not bad.
But where you say, like, how, like you said, I don't understand, I have zero art skill or how someone would do that. I'm that way with math and numbers. Like, I really,
and
like,
with
I
time
don't.
and with time zones.
Guess what's involved with time zones,
That's true.
Dan?
Math. You're right.
Numbers.
You're right.
Numbers.
You're right. Yeah.
So, like, even the most basic, just the concept of numbers themselves, I have a real hard time wrapping my head around it. In my whole life, I could never do, long division in school.
Of course.
I can't do that. I can't do that. So, like, I don't know, I'm just very bad with concepts that deal with time. I get, what are you, very right-brained or left-brained? I forget what it is.
Yeah, and in that way, like I said, you and I are fascinating as a couple.
Right.
I hate to say couple.
Well,
but
kind of an old gay couple.
Because in so many ways,
take out the gay part, and we're pretty much an old gay.
We're not gay. There's no sword fights happening.
You take away that part though, Dan, we're definitely an old gay couple.
We're a couple, yeah. And the thing is, in so many ways, we are the same. I mean, the fucking same. But in other ways, we couldn't be more different. We couldn't be more different. And then this is one of those ways where I'm really good at the stuff you're bad at.
Oh my God.
And vice versa. So
what about in a bizarre world if we could like chop us in half or just do some sort of merge and like exist, as one person, but have the two brains in the, hey, let's go talk to her. I don't want to. I'll take care of it. Or like, oh, we got to go do some math. I got it. And just walk around and just function as like a well-adjusted human being. Because as we independently exist, I'm not a well-functioning human being, And so, but I love Maxine's Hideaway, and this is what I got to tell the listeners. Dan, is such a good person. Despite all the other qualities, Dan is such a
yeah, exactly. Hey, I'm with you.
I'm teasing. You
don't have to tell me.
He takes old pugs that are like on death's door and they get dropped off in the fucking, that's something you've done in the past. And now you do the same thing with pigs. Like it's a pig from a hoarding situation. Someone explain it to the audience. Like they get like a pig that's a baby and it turns out it grows into this massive pig and they don't know because they're dumb and they're like, oh, cute little pig. And then they get it. And then it starts to grow like 50 pounds to 200 pounds. And they're like, I can't fucking take care of this. And they just fucking abandon the pig like a scumbag. That's where Dan comes in.
I mean, I don't.
Yes, Dan.
I don't like using those terms, but
okay.
Most rehomings of pigs are because
of not bad people.
People adopt them from unscrupulous bad people, breeders who tell the owner,
oh, they do.
This pig will stay this size, and you'll be.
No, they don't. They really do that.
They absolutely do that.
So what's the term? What's that? It's a pygmy pig. What do they call the small pig?
So a mini pig, the definition of a mini pig is basically a potbelly pig, which...
Oh, that's the word, potbelly.
That's the here. Hold on. Let me share
So a breeder, so let me get this straight. So a breeder will say, hey, I breed potbelly pigs. They're these cute little pigs that never grow big. They're great for pets.
So if you look at this picture, on the far right, that's a potbelly pig. Okay.
Yeah.
You see how she's a good bit smaller than the two on the left?
Oh yeah.
So she's probably 100 pounds. She's not big. A normal farm pig is 600 pounds.
That's a big. I mean, people don't realize a farm pig how big.
Farm pigs are enormous.
Enormous.
A mini pig is a pig that gets to be 100, 150 pounds.
Yeah, it's like having a big dog. In
terms of their size, about the size of a beagle, but they're very stocky. And that's how big they get.
And
right?
that's a good pet to have. I mean,
they are fantastic companion animals. If you're cut out, you have to be zoned for it. You
Yeah.
have to be careful because HOAs hate them.
Oh yeah.
They think they're livestock, even though they're not. And so that's why they get rehomed. And I don't like shitting on people that happens to, because I get it.
No, I'm glad you corrected me on that because that makes sense. Like
I will
that's
shit
that.
on the breeders and the people who sell them, but the two to the left of the one on the right are Mishan pigs, which is an Asian breed, and they're big. They grow to be 250, and they're used as meat in Asia. But they're
So
also
Dan gives these pigs a place to live, whatever the circumstances is, where a pig is now looking at homelessness, a pig is now nowhere to go. Dan and his organization, Maxine's Hideaway, will come in and say, "Look, we will give this pig a place to live for the rest of its life, happy life, with open air, other pigs for companionship. It'll be great." And it's almost like the best friends. There's a group that does it for dogs in southern Utah, where it's just bad hard luck case dogs that nobody wants anymore, and there's tons of land, and they just sort of like give this animal a place to live the rest of its life after having a hard journey. And so now Dan's putting up a picture of
So this is
the pig barn.
the 8x8 pig house that we had built for the two Mishan pigs. Their names are Thurman and Merman. And we had this built. It's an 8x8. It's on a slab, stick built, studs, the whole thing. It's got shingle roof, the whole 9 yards. This was the Christmas decorations. And they got their door, they come and go. And anyone listening, if you would like to ever see the pigs, we have a website.
Do you have a cam, like a real life?
We do. Now you won't see them until they go to bed because it's inside their.
Yeah, but see, this is smart, and this is why I like you working on this than some horrific corporate job, because you are passionate about this, and this brings you joy, and it brings you joy, and you really feel like you're kind of put on the earth for this. You're not put on this earth to crunch numbers for a corporation.
No,
you're put on this earth to make a real impact and help this, and such good vibes all the way around. So I am very interested in helping and seeing the Maxine's Hideaway grow to have merch. You can have it a fun little website and social media presence, and lots of Dan, lots of cameras. You should be able to go in and like watch these pigs. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I need to add some outside. So if you go to pigcam.xyz, that shows, it's a still that gets refreshed every couple minutes, both inside the barn. The barn is where the potbellies live.
Yeah.
And then the other cameras inside the pig house.
I mean, eventually have like a cool thing where it's like real-time streaming video, way in the future. Real-time streaming video, and like, oh, everybody knows to log in during feed time, and it'll be like a camera down low so you can see their snouts, you know what I mean? Like that'd be kind of cool, you know what I mean? And and then you could even have like a thing where like you do, I mean, I know you don't like kids, or neither do I, but I would do something like have something like, hey, a school trip out to Maxine's Hideaway for a very small group of children or people, anyone, to come educate people about the pig situation. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I would totally.
There's a lot of things you can do, man.
Yeah, once our house is done and things have settled, and because I got to get out of this RV and get into the house and the whole thing. Once that's all done, we're gonna do more.
I love it. I love Maxine's Hideaway. And I love that you entrusted me to do the drawing, and anything we could do, and anything I could do in the future to help that out.
We got to get you down here, man.
I know. When Dan showed that picture of that barn, he put up a barn.
No, we have a barn, a metal building, a big one. It's like,
but Dan put up the shed. I'm sure the shed
8x8 monkey house, basically.
Dude, I'm telling you, I could live in that. I told Dan, I said, just get an 8x8
It has electricity.
shed.
It has electricity.
When I tell you I could live permanently in an 8x8 shed with electricity and a little stove, I could. I really could do like a Ted Kaczynski style, live in like a little wooden.
So we're gonna have a little shindig when our house is done, probably in June. I would love it if you could come.
Really?
And you know what, well, Bruce, you know what? You could stay in the RV and come to the party.
Too fancy.
We'll be in the house.
I think the RV might be too fancy, but yeah, I'll take you up on that.
Where else are you gonna stay?
I want to stay I want to stay pig barn. I mean,
You want to stay in the monkey hut or in the
no,
barn?
no. By then I don't know. No, I'll stay in the RV. But for real, like this news flash. So June.
Yeah. House should
Okay.
be done in May or June. We're going to have a shindig, not a big one, but
I'll be able to do it if it's in June. I'll be able to do it. May's looking kind of rough.
It won't be May. The shindig would be later. The house will be done in May or June. The shindig would be, within a few.
I mean,
weeks
if the shindig is in like July or August, a hot month, it'll be great because I get the hell out of here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's fucking awful here too.
That's true. But you'll have the ice cold air conditioning in your.
We will have the ice cold air, but there's no row here telling people not to run the air.
Oh my god!
And they're 2 brand new units too.
Just full capacity.
Full blast. Yeah.
Just.
Yeah, I would like you to at least consider hopping on a plane, and coming to the shindig.
I would do it. I might even drive out there.
You're gonna drive from Phoenix to North Central Florida?
I like driving. I don't like flying.
Far? Well, I hate flying too, but that's too far for me.
I wouldn't. Well, because you fly first class, you don't know the horror of what it's like to fly coach. It's real bad.
I do know the horror. That's why I refuse.
Well, that's why I refuse. I'm driving.
Right.
I'll drive 3 days.
I'm KC. I'll get in the car and come see you. Yeah.
Listen.
Yeah. Well, guys. Oh, I need this explained real quick. I don't want to spend a ton of time because we're running over, but let's see. There's Bruce.
Yeah.
On a drum kit. There's a Rickenbacker bass back there.
Right. I knew you would love that.
Yeah, that's
all right. I'll spend a little time talking about this. Okay, so I play drums now. My new thing that I'm doing is I like to play drums again, like I used to back when I was young. But of course, I'm not super young anymore, and this is and so like the Grateful Dead drumming is easy because A, you don't have to practice. B, I know all the songs. C, it's a lot easier than playing like this heavy metal music that I don't have the stamina to do anymore. It's like super easy, right? For me, it is. So now I've gotten my name out there as like this guy that you can call to play drums. So like, anyway, that's my drum set in there. I have a little drum set. And I've been playing the gig every now and again.
One guy's got a Les Paul. Wow.
Dude, these are, okay, you're going to love this. So, and by the way, you'll notice how, look at the view behind you. This is in a place called Fountain Hills, which is a little bit east of Scottsdale, which is the most rich community you could ever imagine, Dan.
Wow.
Super wealthy, right?
Lots of boomers.
Oh my God. Yeah, dude. Okay. I hate that you brought this up. I'm going to have to talk about 10 minutes, but at least. So, okay. So yesterday I wake up, I stayed up all night, then I wake up and it's like, 2 in the afternoon and I'm having my coffee. The phone rings and it's a musician friend of mine that I know. And he goes, Bruce, we're in a real bad way. I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, can you be at a gig in Fountain Hills in 1 hour? 1 hour. And I'm like, I'm a half an hour away in Mesa. And I'm looking at the drum set in my living room, which is all set up. So instantly my brain is going, okay, you got to break down. By the way, I just woke up, right? No shower, nothing. And I just had my coffee. Didn't go to the bathroom. I'm like, okay. He wants me to break down this drum set, put it in my car, drive a half an hour up there, set up the drum set again for a gig to play. And I know it's Grateful Dead songs, whatever. So I know, okay, I can do that. But I tell him, mathematically, that is not even within the realm of possibility. I just can't do it. We talk a little bit more. He goes, okay, he hangs up. Then he calls back again. He's like, I can get the gig pushed back a half an hour. How about, can you make it? Can you please? And he starts begging, like, oh, you gotta come out here. We're in a really bad way. This is a contracted job with professional musicians, and our drummer fucking flaked on us. Our drummer just flaked. And listen to this term. He goes, this gig is contracted for a 4-piece with a drummer. That's how he put it. This gig is contracted for a 4-piece with a drummer. We don't have the drummer. I'm like, that tells me this is at a professional level. Then I go, what's it pay? He goes, $175. I'm like, I'm in. So I tell Ro right off the way, I'm like, I gotta go. And I just fucking start breaking down the drums and throwing them in my car. And Rose sees me running around. She's like, oh, she hates the Cyclone Bruce, which is just chaos ever. I'm throwing things around.
Right. You're in, you're out. I get it.
I mean, yeah, I'm just like, the door's open, bugs are flying in, the whole thing. So like, long story short, I get in the car and I'm racing there and I'm texting him like, okay, I'll do it. I'm almost there. What's the gig? What is this gig? And he goes, it's at this resort. So you pull up to the end of this resort, which is on like this beautiful canyon. It's this like 5-star resort dripping with money, big fountain. As I pull in with my little car with the stickers all over the back of it, there's a big fountain and about 5 dudes doing like sort of like valet parking type of thing, right? And I'm like, I'm the drummer. I'm drummer. I'm going over here. I ignore these guys and I unload the drums and I put it here to this picture on the side. Now you can see it's like under a tree, 3 professional musicians. One guy's got a Rickenbacker, just money dripping everywhere. And what you don't see in this picture is the other side where a bunch of really nice tables are all set up with white linen. There's a bunch of fucking servers walking around who are all this is after the gig. So afterwards, you could see. So when I get there, there are a bunch of like dudes, like waiters running around, who are all Mexican guys with like fucking 3-piece suits, like really like this was formal as fuck. This is such a nice place, and I'm underdressed. I'm wearing the same schmata that I did yesterday, and I'm wearing a fucking pair of cut off black ratty. Dude, I look like a bum, unshaven. I did not look like I belonged there at all. The other 3 musicians were actually dressed way better than me. It was terrible.
Yeah, I'm looking at a picture of them right now.
One
of them looks fairly young.
They're all young, dude. They're all like fucking 35.
Oh, okay.
You know, well, a couple of them are old, but anyway, they're all super professional, right?
Right. Oh yeah.
And they're like,
that Les Paul, that's a $2,500 guitar.
I know.
Yeah.
And then so then I get there, and so like I'm walking in through this, you know, and this is what says to me, what is this gig? Well, it's this guy's 70th birthday party. It's a Grateful Dead themed 70th birthday party for this old guy, and he's going to be here in 5 minutes. And I'm just carrying in the bass drum. And I'm like, what? You know me, it takes me hours to get ready to do something, right? He goes, yeah. So you got to set up your drum set, and we're going to sing happy birthday when he walks in. Then we're going to launch into a full Grateful Dead set, a full 3-hour Grateful Dead set. I'm like, I'm not ready. Hurry up. Fuck. So now I'm stressed. That's why I look a little annoyed when you look into the right, the photo of me. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, you look annoyed.
And so that's what happened. So like I'm setting up the drum set really quick, and I'm tightening up the last screw, and it's like, birthday boy's gonna be here in T-minus 30 seconds. I'm like, fuck. Right. And it's a little cold out, and I'm getting ready to play. They're like, ready, Bruce? And no, dude, the timing was exquisite. I sit down and it's like, happy birthday to you. And then they're like, ready, Scarlet Begonias. Dun, 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 dun. I'm like, oh shit. And I play the gig. And it was like 3 hours, and it was fucking wild because I met these 2 other musicians. The dude that you can see they're wearing the hat is like a really professional musician. He's the guy that's like, you're going to put up the picture again of the dudes, but this is a guy that's like, he gave me my car. The dude all the way on the right. Yeah, there's a dude all the way on the right who's like the main dude. His name is Scott. And
is he the bass player?
No, he is the guitar player. The bass player is the long-haired dude on the left.
Okay.
And the other guitar player is the dude in the middle.
Okay.
Who's the guy who he called me. He vouched for me. I don't know any, by the way, never met any of these dudes in my life until I showed up and started playing music with them. Imagine that. You sit down, you're like, hi, I'm Bruce. Hi, I'm Scott. Ready? It was that fast.
Well, then how could he vouch for you if you've never met him?
I met the dude in the middle. The dude in the middle I know, and I've played with before. And so when these 3 dudes had a problem, and didn't have a drummer.
They called Bruce.
The dude in the middle goes, I know a guy. And the other 2 musicians who are super professional musicians say, I don't know. Can he do this? Does he have the skill? And the middle guy goes, yeah, he knows the Grateful Dead songs. It's just a matter of whether he can get here on time or whether he's available. Who can drop everything in an hour? You know?
Oh man, that's tough.
So what you don't see is like during the set break, hey, there's food for you guys. Now, normally as a musician, here's some hot dogs. Dude, filet mignon, full tray of like a guy with filet mignon, high class food with the tongs, and like a guy cutting the meat for you under a heat lamp. Like,
holy shit.
Dude, I was in next level. And end of the gig.
That's too nice for you.
It is too nice for me. I felt like an imposter. In fact, in the end, I had to go to the bathroom. And they're like, okay, just walk through the restaurant. I'd like one look in the restaurant. There's a grand piano and a guy playing it in a fucking tuxedo. I'm like, I'm not walking through there and having all stares on me. I'm not. I'm too self-aware. I look like a bum. I'm not going in there. So I go around to the kitchen where the Mexican guys are like scraping off dishes and stuff. I'm like, and I just barricaded right in there like to help. I'm like, I'm the drummer. I need to take a leak. See, so I go in there, and I take a leak and I wash my hands and I come out and I see the leftovers. So I worked in a kitchen a long time. I know when there's trays of leftover of the buffet food, right? There's like gourmet Brussels sprouts and there's meat and stuff. Dan, like a heathen, nobody was looking. I bend over and I just start shoving food in my mouth from the tray.
So you are like a homeless person, pretty much.
I did. I look like a homeless person. I behaved like one because I started like eating food out of the tray. This is good, But here, they served us food and they put up that little table for us and stuff like that. And it was quite an experience, you know what I mean? Because then so this dude on the right, here's the big news. This is the big news, Dan. The dude on the right knows Bob Weir. The guy, yeah. The dude on the right knows Bob Weir. Bob Weir has connection to Fountain Hills. Bob Weir goes hiking in Fountain Hills, and therefore he knows this dude. This guy's a professional working musician. The Grateful Dead has a Sphere residency. They had one in the past. They got one coming up.
Yes.
You might know, or you might be able to guess, like when the Grateful Dead has a Sphere residency, all of Vegas has like this Dead theme to capitalize on that, right? They have all the hotels will have sort of interactive things. And as such, all the hotels also have a lot of sort of Grateful Dead cover bands and different music when the Dead aren't playing, whatever. The guy on the right, the last Sphere residency, had a very lucrative gig playing for a lot of people at one of these very big motels with a lot of talented dudes playing, Dead songs. Dan, listen to this. At the end of it, this is why I do these gigs. Are you looking at Kara?
No, nothing.
Right. At the end of this gig, I proved myself to all three of these musicians, especially the dude on the right. He looks at me and goes, Bernie was right. You can play. I knew all the songs. I did it, Dan.
I love it, man.
And he goes, you came through, you played the songs. And by the way, when you're on stage and the dude gives you the nod when you're playing, you're doing, you know what I mean? You're getting the vibing. Oh yeah. So I'm like, I was nervous the whole time because I'm clearly like, what the fuck, dude? It's been a long time since you've been in a band doing this, right? So he goes, I'll keep you in mind because I've got another thing going on in Vegas when the Dead come back to do their Sphere residency in May. I'm like, what do you mean? And he's like, that means we're at like the Venetian or one of these huge fucking places playing to a crowd of 500 to 1,000 people with real professional musicians. And a lot of drummers are flaky, as we know, because one dude called out within an hour to go. And you seem to know what you're doing, and Bernie vouched for you, and you seem like a good guy, blah, blah, blah. And I go, buddy, I'll be there. You call me on the phone if that happens, I'll be there. So Dan, he floated the possibility.
Wow.
And he goes, by the way, it's an extremely lucrative gig. Like, in other words, there's probably some serious money. And then he goes, it's free motel, free tickets.
I would have to think about coming to see it, much as I don't like the Grateful Dead. I would have to think about coming to see it.
I think you should, because I don't think
I could name more than 3 Grateful Dead songs.
Look, I'll tell you the truth. The Dead, who's playing at the Sphere is not the Grateful Dead. It's Dead and Company, which is
right,
like
I know.
2 80-year-old original members of the Dead who are 80. And as such, all the music is very slow, very low energy. Yeah. And as a drummer, I got a problem with the tempo. Imagine if you went to go see Run for the Hills. Bruce Dickinson is 90 years old, and they got to do it super slow because
Speaking of that, Bruce, you were prophetic. You asked me not long ago about the Maiden drummer, and you're like, "How old is he?" I go, "He's about 70."
I'm sure they must have got a 20-year-old in there.
No, he just stepped back. He announced he did his last gig with Maiden, and they're bringing for next year's tour. They're using a younger guy.
Of course, in metal, you need a younger guy on the drums. It's not a
question. And on top of that, the Maiden drummer had a stroke like a year ago.
Probably from playing drums too much at his advanced stage. Dude, you're playing heavy metal with double kick drums. It's like you're running on a treadmill, dude. It's fucking.
Yeah, that's taxing. Yeah.
So
No,
I
but
mean,
you had said you're surprised he
I
could still
was.
do it, and bingo
Yeah,
bango.
because you told me this original drummer's still doing it. I'm like, hey, there ain't no way that he's gonna drop dead. You know what I mean? Like that's no good. But anyway, that's the story of these photos because that was my day yesterday. It was not planned. You know me, I'm a guy who gets to the airport 5 hours early because
Of
if you're
course.
gonna do something, you're gonna plan for it. You're gonna make sure you go to the bathroom before you go. You're gonna fucking all this stuff, and all that was thrown out the window. And when the guy called to say, "Hey, can you do this?" My first instinct was absolutely not. I'm not doing this. It's an hour. I don't have an hour to get ready. But then I thought, dude, if this is you want to get called up to be the guy who you can call the guy you want to be Bruce, the guy who you can call when you're in a jam and he shows up and plays drums. Because there's a lot of Grateful Dead drummers out there here in Phoenix who will instantly take this gig, right? And so you got to be known as that guy. So now I'm like, we'll see. I mean, I don't know. The Vegas thing was floated. It probably won't happen, but that was kind of cool.
Look, man, I'm super happy for you. That's amazing. I mean, and like I mean, I've never seen you play, but I'm sure you're good. I mean, you
Uh,
were a
it,
legit recording musician in the '90s. I mean,
in my prime, here's the thing, what I'll say. In my prime, I was an absolute beast. Because in the 90s, I would play, you're on tour, you play drums every day. And
yeah,
just from repetition, doesn't matter if you got the skill or not, from repetition, if you're playing every single day, you're going to have the chops. And I was confident. I'd get up there and be like, yeah, I blow these guys away. Now, I'm like, I don't play drums every day. It's hard to practice, Actually, today I'm
yeah.
getting,
Drums is a hard thing to practice
it
because
is.
you make a lot of noise.
And Ro don't like the noise. And
And
I don't,
she's going to scream
dude,
at you. What we need to do, Bruce, is we need to get you one of those electronic kits
it's
with the.
happening today. It's
All right,
happening
good.
today, and I manifested it. I mean, I don't have the money to
They're
buy them.
not expensive.
They're not. They're not. They're about 300, and they're
Yeah,
pads, and then you wear headphones, and they can
yeah,
make do. You hear it?
yeah.
So like, but I don't have $300 to spend, whatever. But I know a guy who was like, "Hey man, is another musician friend." He goes, "I'm not a drummer, but I have one of these sets, and I'll just let you borrow it indefinitely. I got no use for it." I'm like, "Really?" He goes, "Yeah." I'm like, "Oh shit." So I'm getting that today, and I'm
Nice.
going to put that in the garage, and I'll be,
And then
I'll tell Ro, and I'll
complaints
be
from
like, "Hey,
Roe.
Ro, please tell me if this bothers you. If it's like tippity tap too loud. I don't think it'll be too loud at all, but I'll be able to go through the motions to get the wrist movements and all that. Get the
Of course,
fucking,
yeah,
you know."
of course.
But that was wild yesterday, dude. I came back from that like on cloud nine. I'm like, fuck, dude, because that pushed my limits of what dude, it was so I don't know what they would have done if the 70-year-old birthday boy walks in. It's like happy birthday, and they had a manager, a booking agent, a fucking all these like entertainment
Wow.
coordinators. There are dudes walking around with like that little Madonna headphone thing, like the birthday boy's here. Is the band ready? Get the drum. Is the drummer ready? Is the drummer ready? I'm like, yeah, I'm hurrying. It's so fucking
All of this for a boomer.
There, the guy had money, and you know what? I tease boomers a lot, whatever. The dude was actually cool, but by the way, it was also extremely white. I was feeling very,
Oh, well, my God, prime
dude,
rib and shit.
dude.
Fucking
I
A.
mean, and you know what was weird? Like every single server there was not white, and every single person there was a white boomer, maybe old Gen X, that was being waited on hand and foot. And I was like, man, this is a weird vibe, whatever. But hey, and the guy was cool. He came over and he's like, "You guys are great." And it felt good to be that professional, right? Like I was faking it till I make it. Like the guy turned around when we were playing. He goes, "Hey man, we're gonna go into Monkey and the Engineer. You know that one?" And Dan, I lied. I'm like, "Yeah, I know how Monkey and the Engineer goes." Dan, I don't. I just sort of went on vibes and like, I'll figure it out. How hard can it be?
And
So,
then you fast forward and you got a stack of cash.
exactly.
Dude, right
It
there.
wasn't much. It wasn't, but like you know what? It wasn't much. But I mean, this is something I want to do. I want to make art. I want to play drums. This is what segues back to
Look,
what you want to
man.
do. Yeah,
Yeah.
we only got so much life on this planet, right?
Yeah,
I
no,
don't care.
yeah, yeah. You're
Do the
absolutely
pigs.
right.
Do the fucking pig. I know you love the pigs. You love the pigs.
Yeah, we'll see how it shakes out. I'm gonna sort of tread water until around March 1st, which is when I'll know if I found out the artery is completely healed on March 1st. At that point, it's a fork in the road. I'm going
Yeah.
to say to them, I want to stay part time. We'll see what happens.
Be careful at forks in the road. You know what could happen. You could turn it to KC. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you gotta watch that.
Hey, I'm Jewish KC.
Hey, this I'm the Heeb KC, man.
Yeah, you want some Manischewitz?
Hey,
I got Manischewitz.
Do you have a mezuzah? Hey, I'm gonna put a mezuzah up in my homeless shelter that I'm building.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm gonna wrap it up, folks.
Sorry I went so long. Sorry I went so long, dude.
No, it's good stuff, man. It's good content. I'm gonna wrap it up. Here comes the outro. It's coming at you.
Heeb Goy, we would like to welcome you. Heeb Goy, one Gentile and Jew. Heeb Goy, two old men who like to complain. Heeb Goy,